Hello and welcome back to Serpent Sunday. As always, I'm your host, Morgan. This week, we're continuing our look into the world of the serpents that I can find in my own general area of California. Specifically this week, we're going to be looking at the wonderful, lovable gopher snake. So I was already planning on touching on gopher snakes this week, and it just so happened a couple days ago at time of recording, when I was on my way back home from doing some general grocery shopping, I started to pull into my community, and in the mouth of the road that leads into my community off of the main road, there was a gopher snake attempting to cross the asphalt and starting to move very slowly because it has been very hot where I am, and the ground was possibly beginning to burn the poor little thing's belly. Now, me being me, pulled off to the side of the road. Now, the specific road that leads into my community has a very wide mouth, so I wasn't in danger of blocking anyone's way or having my car hit or anything like that. But I got out with the need to help this snake cross the road and get off of the very hot asphalt. Now, there was another truck pulled over on the other side that at the time that I pulled over, I didn't know was also had the intention of helping the snake. Now, I have a horse grooming kit in my car because I every day go up to take care of my horse, and I don't like leaving my stuff up there because I don't want to get lost. And in that grooming kit, I have a fairly long sweat scraper, and my intention was to try to kind of scoot him along and get him to slither off on his own, but unfortunately, he was having a hard time moving, probably because of how hot the ground was. So I ended up picking him up and moving him, and the gentleman from the other truck got some water, and we got him water. He was a little dehydrated, but we got him off the side of the road and into the shade where he could recuperate and move off, and he since has. And I mentioned this because gopher snakes are going to be one of the most common snakes seen on roadways and on hiking trails. They are primarily diurnal, and it is a nice PSA to tell people to look out for them. Now, the one that I did see the other day, it's kind of odd to see them during the day during this time of year in Southern California, because when the temperatures do get as hot as they have been, they do shift to a more nocturnal lifestyle. They are one of those species with the ability to shift from diurnal, awake in the daytime, to nocturnal, awake in the nighttime, or vice versa, depending on the environmental conditions. If you do see one, they are not dangerous, they are non-venomous, and if you are able to safely help it, please do. But moving on from that little aside here, let's get into what exactly to look for when you are trying to identify a snake as a gopher snake. Gopher snakes are considered to be on the large end of the medium snake spectrum. They can range from about 2.5 to 9 feet long at maturity, and interestingly, their hatchlings are considered very large for hatchlings, and the average size of a hatchling is going to be about 15 inches in length. So these are technically on the bigger side of the medium snake world. That being said, they're fairly easy to identify if you know what you're looking for. They usually have some sort of base color of tan to light gray, and then markings that are dark brown to black. And they usually have some sort of dark stripe across their head and under their eyes. But this coloration range does vary by region and does tend to blend in with the environment around them. Now, in my region, it has more of a desert or chaparral ecosystem, so our gopher snakes are the tan and brown variety. But if you head down to different parts of their range, say you're more coastal or something, they might be more gray. It really just depends on the area that you are and what that particular population's coloration tends to be, because they do have that lovely cryptic coloration. Now, because of their coloration and their markings, they are often mistaken for rattlesnakes, but they do lack a rattle and they do lack venom. Again, I reiterate, these snakes are not venomous. And a gopher snake can live more than 30 years, and during this time, their growth is indeterminate, which means they do grow continuously with no concrete upper limit, which is why there's such a wide range in how long these snakes can get at maturity. Now, after about 3 to 4 years, rapid growth slows down, and for the remainder of their life, all growth is very, very slow, but again, it is technically continuously growing. There's no upper limit for sure, but the range is 2.5 to 9 feet in general. So gopher snakes can pretty much be found all over the West, from southwestern Canada all the way down to Baja California, and they range east into the Midwestern states and Western Texas and the corresponding areas of Canada and Mexico as well. And because of this, they also inhabit a very wide range of habitats and are known to be able to survive in almost any habitat, be it woodland, desert, prairie, chaparral, agricultural environments. These snakes are all over the place. However, they do have a preference for more moist and open areas, and that preference probably comes from the kind of prey they do tend to go after. However, that is still a little bit of a question in the minds of the scientists that do study gopher snakes. Now, like I mentioned before, they are primarily diurnal, but they do shift to more nocturnal when the temperatures do go up during the day, wherever they may be found. Gopher snakes are primarily solitary and generally only come together to breed. It is very rare to find multiple gopher snakes together unless it is a nest that is hatching right now. And gopher snakes, while they are the most common snake to see on the roadways and hiking trails, they do spend most of their time in underground burrows. The underground burrows, especially during hot weather, tend to give them a nice cool refuge, and they are a safe place to avoid predators. These snakes are also very good at swimming and climbing, so that is another one of the reasons why they are able to conquer such a wide range of habitats. And if they are in a position where they need to defend themselves, their first thing they might try to do is move away rapidly, which is pretty standard in the snake world. Just try to get away. They may possibly become rigid and still to avoid any unwanted attention. But one of the things that gets them confused with rattlesnakes a lot is that they will adopt that pit viper-esque stance and sometimes even wiggle their tails in vegetation to simulate rattling. The breeding season for gopher snakes is June to August, and during this time is pretty much the only time when they interact with each other. The females will lay eggs that will incubate for 65 to about 75 days, and then about 2 to 24 offspring will hatch and go on their merry ways. Gopher snakes do subdue their prey with constriction, and the prey that they tend to feed on is going to be small mammals, lizards, smaller snakes, birds, insects, and even eggs. In some parts of their range, they do seem to prefer gophers as their primary prey, which is why the name gopher snake has been coined, but they are in no way specific to only feeding on gophers. They have a wider ecological role besides just feeding on these animals that may be considered pests, but they do serve as some sort of population and pest control, especially when they are present in these agricultural and urban environments. They are a big part of controlling those rodent populations. but they're also a very important prey source for other predators in the wider ecosystem, specifically king snakes, foxes, hawks, coyotes, bobcats, things like that love to feed on gopher snakes. So they are pretty solidly right there in the middle of that whole ecosystem food web mess. But that's about all I have for you this week. I do hope that you found learning a little bit about the wonderful gopher snake at least a bit fascinating and a little bit of a fun few minutes to spend your time on this wonderful world of YouTube with me. I do hope you have a wonderful rest of your morning, day, evening, night, what have you, and I will see you all in the next one. Thank you again for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell if you would like to see more. And if you'd like to follow me on any of my other social medias, the links are down in the description below. Don't forget to check out thereptilegoth.com for all of my articles and blog posts. If you found any value in this video and you would like to help support the channel, please check out my Patreon page. That link is also in the description down below. And a special thanks goes out to my Diamond Dragon patron, Diane V. What you're doing is really helping me fund a dream here. I will see you guys all in the next one.